Rockwall, Texas Living, the web's biggest blog
on the smallest county in Texas.
This is real estate update today for 2010 year-end review.
Right, and we're talking about the smallest county in Texas, which is Rockwall, and then we shrink it down to just 2 zip codes, which is our particular city, which is called Rockwall, and the county's called Rockwall, and also Heath, which is a sister city to us.
Sister city.
Sister city. It's hard to say.
Hard to say.
Sister city.
All right. So, pretty interesting numbers. Let's dive into them and kind of do some explanation on what we're seeing.
All right. So here we have in the blue is the average for the year of 2010. In the red is the average for the year of 2008. So we don't really need any...
2009,
right. And we don't really need any numbers of what's currently listed there. We're not worried about that at this point. But we're looking down and finding out that the average number of homes on the market for every month, the average is 550 homes.
For 2010.
For 2010.
For 2009?
2009 was 582. So it was 32 more a month on an average that were listed. And you can multiply that out and get about 360 homes.
Yeah.
So, or 360-something homes. So it's a lot more homes that were on the market. But look at that next number, see? There were 867 sales, and that works out to 72 a month, as opposed to the year before, 65 a month in 2009.
So we had, in the same amount that this was different, lower,
we had
and higher, this was opposite.
Right.
We had more sales, so we had less homes on the market, yet we had
more sales.
More sales.
Right, so that means that there was some excitement about buying, and of course we had 2 months of the
tax credit.
The tax credit, which
I still think that it didn't necessarily make that much more sales
total, right?
Because we're not seeing this jump significantly.
Right.
That's only 7 per month. It's not.
Right.
That's not a lot.
Right.
But I think there were more people that were just taking advantage of the fact that it's a really good time to buy, regardless of tax credit or not.
Right.
It's a good time to buy. People are going to look back, and I've said this before. People are going to look back to 2009, 2010, maybe part of 2011, and say, I wish I would have bought then. Or
I should have stretched.
Or they're going to say, I'm so glad I did.
I'm so glad I did. I got my value back up. And
got a low interest rate.
And I got my taxes, because I bought at a low rate. I took that closing sheets to the appraisal district and got my taxes lowered.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
A lot of good things happening. So then when we look at the average list price to sale price, we find that it was 95.6 in 2010.
All right.
It was 96.5 in 2009.
So a little bit lower.
A little bit lower.
Around 1%. But let's not get carried away and think that happened everywhere, because the reality is this is the bulk of where most of Rockwall and Heath are, right in these 3 columns, or 3 rows. 97, 97, 95. So I mean we're still very close to the typical average, which is 3 to 4% is what a house, what it's listed for, what it'll sell for.
Yeah, so that's really interesting to know that people were still buying, and obviously there was some negotiation going on, but they still hit the percentage rate that we've had for a long time before that.
Yeah,
the problems of 2009 and 2010.
Interesting.
So only dropped 9.9%.
Okay.
All right, and then here you got 100. How many days on the market, which is a key ingredient here, and we tell that to our listing folks all the time. You know, this is how long it probably will stay on the market. And what we found here is that 107 days on the market was normal as an average over those 5 categories that we have slipped out there, and it was 98 the year before.
Yeah.
So.
And typically, that's what we've seen in previous years, that it has been kind of under that 100 mark, but popped up a little bit higher here. However, I mean, you have some of these over 400 listings that were taking longer to sell because jumbo loans were harder to get approval for. There were fewer buyers in that price range. There was a lot of people,
or they were pricing it too high,
or the sellers were pricing it too high, or the buyers that also have to sell a house were saying, you know, I don't want to take a hit right now on the $500,000 house that I need to sell in order to buy the $600,000 house that I want to buy.
Right.
So
And the other thing might have been there was a lot more maybe foreclosures, and sometimes they have a tendency, even because of what's happening with the bank and everything, to go a little longer.
yeah, the
Short
process
sales and all
runs,
that.
definitely.
So that might have kicked it up. So we look at that and say, still, if we were to say between those 2 months or those 2 years, 100 to 102, 105 days, somewhere in there is going to be, pretty good average for every home to sell, and that's about 3.5 months.
Yeah.
Or 3 1/3 months.
And the only other thing that I would say about that is these that would typically be lower, they'd be probably in the mid 70s to the mid 80s. A lot of these, that's also going to be affected with the short sell and just the amount of time that it took. And if you think about it, approximately, depending on the numbers that you look at, 15 to 20% of homes that are out there were a short sell or foreclosure, that sort of thing. Those were maybe on the market longer, but the other homes were not. And so when that 20% merges into the rest of the 80%, you do get just a slight bump.
Just pushes it up, yeah. So we're looking at 2010 and saying, wow, we had a lot going on. There was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of negativism with the media about what was going on in the home area. But for the Rockwall Heath area, we still did really good in relationship to the rest of the nation. And we can't play our numbers into the nation. We're just saying that right now, Texas
Very
and
safe.
Rockwall,
Very safe.
good place to be buying, good place to be selling, and we're not experiencing the things that Nevada and California and Florida have, which all the highs and lows that they've been through.
Yeah.
So we're glad to be here on solid ground.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Happy 2010 to you.
Or 11.
Welcome to 2011.
Yeah.
And we're going to be keeping you informed throughout this year. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Have
Right.
some thoughts on that, but
Right.
we'll dive into those deeper as we start covering the beginning of 2011 in the upcoming days.
Now make sure that if you're ready to buy or to sell, you give us a call. We'll do a good job for you.
Absolutely. Numbers on every video. Make sure you give us a call or contact us on our website.
We'd love to serve you.
We would. Well, we're learning a little bit more about Rockwall, Texas together every day, and we're keeping you informed on real estate. I think we're the only agents that are doing that
Woohoo!
on this channel.
All right.
We'll see you next time.